Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners in Latin America, also across the pond, and London, England, as well as Paris, France, and of course you good old boys from Africa. You know we love the Big C tribe. We love them up in Canada, but Big C, there's no one we love more than the good old boys down south in the land of the free and the home of the brave. Big C, how's it going on a beautiful July the 23rd, 2018, Big C?
Charlton, we're starting to figure things out here. The Baltimore Ravens went to training camp at the end of last week. The rest of the training camps will be kicked off this week. I got the beer on ice. I got the moonshine in the cage. We're ready to roll.
Everybody's ready to roll. I still hear about the beer, the moonshine in the cage, or the beer in the cage. A lot of things are in the cage, Big Speed, and also things are out of the bag. We just got a chance to see some really good golf over the weekend. That, to me, was the first time I really enjoyed golf in a long time. I had so many people changing leads in the final day on the back nine. So that was exciting for golf. Also baseball after the All-Star break, realizing that we can have some good baseball. The Oakland A's actually took the series from the Giants in the Bay Area, even though the Giants are considered more of the Bay Area's prodigal team. NBA basketball, who's actually the power teams now. A lot of things coming up in the world of sports. But I want to jump into something. There's an actor by the name of Alan Alda. He actually appeared in The Heat of the Night back in the day. Actually played professional football for the Green Bay Packers. He was a mayor of Fresno, California, and now he's out doing a lot of things, you know, in the world of movie and motion pictures. Even The Rock had a good showing over the weekend with his movie. But Denzel topped the list with all of it when it comes to actors. I do want to say this segment is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you go by and test drive yours, tell them Charlton and Big C sent you. So, Big C, we did this thing on acting. And I've noticed more stations trying to, you know, bring some acting to their sports programs. But Alan Autry, in The Heat of the Night, played football for the Green Bay Packers back in the day. And I just noticed more and more people, Big C, doing more than just football, going after the games is played. Just give me your thoughts on some of the actors, whether it's Alan Autry or other people that have made that transition that we talked about last week. Your thoughts?
You know, Charlton, so many football players have prepped themselves for afterlife. You know, they got in little spin-off roles, and whether it was in a soap opera or a TV series, some of them got in cameo appearances in movies, and it's propelled them into a much longer and illustrious career.
Yeah.
But, you know, these are the things that we look at as the multi-dynamics of athletes nowadays. That was really the major move for LeBron moving to Los Angeles. People think it was all about a championship. If anybody ever noticed, he has never offered or stated that he would be bringing a championship to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
You know, he moved there for the afterlife, and you've seen so many great players in that Los Angeles basin over the years move into that Hollywood. You know, I think about Fred Dryer, a defensive end, who played with the Rams for years, and he had a detective show, Charlton, on television for a decade. We think about Rosie Greer,
yeah,
who played a long-running TV role, Charlton. Many of them, even Merlin Olsen, got into a little acting, also in Little House on the Prairie. So when you think about these teams, Charlton, and what they allow athletes to do over time by being in that area, Charlton, they become marketable. You know, there was even Keith Wilkes, who played with the Lakers and at UCLA, played in a movie, Silk and Me.
Yeah.
You know, where he was a main character in that movie, Charlton. But, you know, being in that afterlife, after sports, Charlton, you talked about Alan Autry. Not only did he get into acting, Charlton, but being the mayor of a major U.S. city.
Yeah.
So, you know, the dynamics. Even Kevin Johnson was the mayor of Sacramento, out in that area where you are.
That's right.
You know, former NBA player. So when we look at athletes, and well, I even think about J.C. Watts, who was a star quarterback at the University of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Who was a U.S. congressman from Oklahoma for about a decade, Charlton.
Yeah.
So when we think about what these athletes do on the field, you have to think more about what they do off the field. And even more so today when you look at a lot of foundations that these athletes run, Charlton, to benefit a lot of Americans and youth in this country.
Yeah.
That they're thinking beyond the spectrum of the game. And that's the one thing that I look at all these sports programs, which, in the LeBron news today, no one gave a damn. It was about, let's be real about what these athletes can do, Chuck.
Yeah.
How much can you hear about LeBron's story going to L.A.? They won't tell the truth why LeBron went to L.A.
Yeah.
They will always want to build something else other than LeBron, the businessman, made a business decision. It wasn't a basketball decision. He played basketball anywhere.
Yeah.
But if he's going to go somewhere, and if it was about winning a championship, why didn't he align himself, Charlton, with a team that's there?
Yeah.
He could have went to Golden State. He could have went to Houston and took a minimal cut. He could have did that, Charlton.
Yeah.
But it wasn't about championships. There were teams on the cusp. He could have went to Boston.
Yep.
But he went to Los Angeles on a business decision. And as you talk about Alan Autry, moving into that limelight of that big screen,
yes,
that's where LeBron's next major move will be, Charlton. That's where he wants to win a championship.
I think that's incredible, Big C. And what I love about the actor today, I was listening to some older people talk just over the weekend, and most of the time they talked about what you could not do and what you could not become. Well, for a lot of the people who play sports now, it's an enterprise. They're their own businessmen, and I've learned so much. Talking about the TV part that we're transforming into, I hear about a lot of people behind the scenes that you'll never really hear about in the public light. There's a couple of sports agents I was talking to just today about things that they do and athletes that they represent, but they are businessmen behind the scene. I think that movie back in the day, it had Tom Cruise and Lee Steinberg with Jerry Maguire. It's about Show Me the Money and Cuba Gooding Jr. That genre it exists. And when I think about it existing, it hasn't always been that way. When you go back to Jack Johnson, how many opportunities did he have to really make more money after the game than he made during the game? You opened my mind last week when you were saying that Jim Brown, Willie Stroop introduced him to acting, and he made more as an actor than he made playing football. So what we're seeing is more of a renaissance of the few black men that were allowed that opportunity. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, when you think about Jim Brown transcending into that world, greatest football player was of his era and could play in many eras.
Yeah.
Jim Brown's final year in the NFL, Charlton, he made $66,000. So
wow.
When people think that athletes made a lot of money forever, think about that. Jim Brown played 9 years in the NFL. He won the rushing title 8 of those 9 years, Charlton.
Wow.
He won the multiple championships with the Cleveland Browns, NFL championships. But in his final year of playing in the NFL, he was only worth $66,000.
Wow.
So why would a player continue if he had other opportunities?
Yeah.
Jim Brown went and played in a movie that offseason, in a spaghetti western. Good, the bad, the ugly.
Yep.
He made $99,000, basically $100,000. He made $34,000 more dollars in 3 months without getting tackled, pounded into the ground,
yeah,
and getting breaks all the time.
No face mask.
Only doing short shots.
Yep.
So he made $34,000 more in 3 months.
Yeah.
Acting than what he made playing football over a 6-month season, plus working out to get in shape, Charlton.
Yeah.
So basically a 9-month season.
Wow. That's
so
incredible.
That's what people don't understand about athletes. When you see athletes retiring now, Charlton, because they have other opportunities,
Yep.
this is what you need to know about them, is that they're intelligent. There's life beyond entertaining on the turf.
Yeah.
I think always the great Barry Sanders comes to mind when people are like, well, he retired too soon.
No, he didn't.
No, he retired. He retired when he wanted to retire.
Yeah.
That's the power of many athletes now, Charlton, because you've made enough money to say, okay, enough of this is enough.
Yeah.
What am I going to accomplish in the long term? If I play another 2 years, take too many hits that I don't need to take, where's my life going to be?
That's a very good point.
And you also had that with Megatron in Detroit also.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, wow, he's retiring in the prime of his career. He retired at the prime of his life.
Yeah.
That's what people don't get. Athletes retire at the prime of their lives where they can enjoy things. They don't see old athletes like myself and many others, Charlton, who have crippling and debilitating joints.
Yeah.
That we're bothered and troubled every day. This is what the fans don't see. They like the limelight that we live and the entertainment that we bring to them, but they don't understand the tragedies that we go through in life as far as pain.
Yeah.
Every day.
That's a very good point. I remember there was I think Otis Sistrunk played for the Oakland Raiders, the bald head. Look, you guys have the same barber, Big C. It's called Yourself in the Mirror.
From the University of Mars. Never played college football, Charlton. Al Davis found him in a semi-pro league.
Yeah. And talk about being able to find talent. That's how great Al Davis was. His son has a lot to catch up on when it comes to finding talent. But just that whole thought about Alan Autry and then going back into Jim Brown. And even if you look at O.J. Simpson, what O.J. did back in the day, and then being one of the best athletes out there in college and in professionals, going into acting. There's another player that I think about too, Terry Crews. You know, he played pro ball. Now he's known as the guy that flexes his pecs. What is it about flexing your pecs on TV? Is that showing off, or does he have some type of thing where he just can't help it, Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, he's showing things that the average man can't show. I mean, he's making people jealous is what he does. I look at Terry Crews, and you bring him up, you know, regardless of whatever he's in, whether it's a baseball all-star game, you know, the celebrity version of it, Charlton.
Yeah.
Or even a commercial, or just showing up someplace.
Deodorant.
He's always flexing. And this is a man, Charlton, that's in his late 50s.
Yeah.
He's not a teenager. But I look at him and I compare him to other athletes that are doing commercials. We all see Frank Thomas on this eugenics.
Yep.
We see Bo Jackson. Everybody else has a shirt on. And Terry Crews is much older than everybody.
Yeah.
And they all got a shirt on. But, you know, I admire Terry Crews, Charlton.
Yeah.
Because that shows that he has integrity and perseverance.
Yeah.
That, you know, he has that stick-to-itness, that when he sets his mind to do something, Charlton, and that's the athletic drive in him, is that he has set his mind to be something. He was a linebacker with the L.A. Rams.
Yes.
So, you know, this is a guy who knows what it's like to have his body punished.
Yep.
But he understood also, Charlton, because being in Los Angeles prior to them going to St. Louis, there was opportunities for him to get small roles in movies.
Yeah.
Those small roles, Charlton, turned into a career.
Yeah.
At his age, would he still be playing football? No.
No.
There's not a chance. Would he have played more than 10 years in the NFL? No. But he's been in this acting business, Charlton, over 2 decades.
Yeah.
So when you think about the intelligence of an athlete deciding what's best for him, and the fans need to appreciate that.
Yeah.
That these are intelligent human beings. Whether it's a basketball player, baseball player, Charlton, football player, even a hockey player, Charlton. There was a soap opera, Young and the Restless, for years, had cameo appearances, Charlton, by many great athletes.
Yeah. That
they wanted to be there. I think the guy's name was Victor Newman.
Yeah.
That everybody wanted to be affiliated with Victor Newman. You know, I remember when Wayne Gretzky was on there, you know, for a couple of series.
Yep.
And, you know, Wayne was from the Edmonton group. You know, I guess he was part mafia, you know, to be on the show. But, you know, it's inspiring to see athletes get an opportunity to do more than just wear a number, Charlton.
Yeah, that's incredible. And the reason I bring that up is because talking to more and more people, it's really a small world. In the world of broadcast and the world of acting and television, it's a lot of who you know. Sometimes you look up on television and you say, how does somebody get the job? It's oftentimes who they know. It's a lot what we talked about last week. Now a lot of people are talking about today, Greg Papa and Brent Musburger. Why did that happen? A lot of that is personality. You know, Greg Papa didn't even know that he was fired until the public knew. That's how cutthroat this business is, or cutthroat this business can be. But it goes back to someone who's doing things in a way where you're burning all your bridges, and there may be a time that he has to come back and he can't cross them because they're burned. Now, you know, Big C, people get hired and fired all the time. That's just part of life. But for someone who did his thing for 20 years and to just be let go and find out at the same time that the public finds out. Now, this may be a stupid question. Do your players play for you? Do they really give you their all when they realize that you will fire people before the public knows about it before they even know it? Does that make any sense, Big C?
Well, Charlton, it just shows how callous the business world is, and even the sports world. You have a dedicated broadcaster who puts his heart and soul into the broadcast for the team, not just because he works for them, Charlton, but he loves the organization.
He loves it, and he's good.
He loves the players.
Yeah.
It's a relationship that he's developed over time. And you're so callous that you'll say, okay, I will fire you through the media.
Yeah.
We don't even have enough, dignity as a professional organization. And then they wonder why players constantly demand money and always want other options. Because this is how management treats everybody. You're only a part-time scenario for them.
Yeah.
We don't have lifetime contracts in sports or in broadcasting. It's for the moment. And so when players hold out, when broadcasters hold out, trying to get more, it's because they're trying to extend the financial part of their career, not longevity,
Yeah.
but the financial part of their career.
Yep.
That's what people don't understand. When we see NFL players getting ready to hold out going to training camp because they want their contract negotiated.
Yep.
Everyone's talked about Le'Veon Bell. The Steelers keep signing him to a, franchise tender.
Yeah.
And they did that with your cousin in Washington also for a couple of years.
Yeah.
But these are the things they have to look at.
Yeah.
Is that there's no loyalty to the player.
Yeah.
Because even after Washington gave your cousin a franchise tender for a couple
That's
of
how
years,
rumors get started.
they just let him go.
They let him go. And that's a very good point, Big C. But you brought up something about Willie Strobe, and I Googled it. Yeah, he was a great athlete at UCLA. A lot of people don't know that he played.
He was an All-American end.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. I didn't even know that. But that's something that there's an inside of Hollywood that mainstream doesn't know about. And learning about it more and more, I realize it is such a small world. The guy who owns the Dallas Mavericks, Mark Cuban, a millionaire owner, got a break in life and took advantage of it. Now he's just signed, and he does television also. But because of how he is, I know something happened with certain athletes, whether it's Jason Kidd or whoever else they have been in that organization. But today, Dirk Nowitzki, he signed a 1-year contract. He's the longest player in the history of the NBA to be with the same team. Going to be 21st seasons going into the Maverick organization. Now, his owner's also a TV guy. Now, Dirk, how many people know that Dirk's the longest running player to ever be with the same team in the history of the NBA, and because of Cuban gave him a 1-year deal? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, that's something that's not known. I mean, people think about championships as all that matters. That's one of those loyalty situations. And you got to realize, Dirk, this is actually his second NBA team. Many people don't realize that. He was not originally drafted by Dallas. He was traded to Dallas.
Traded to him, yeah.
So when you look at what Mark Cuban has done with this man, relationship-wise, over the years, it's beyond basketball.
Yeah.
It's personal when you look at that. You look at for what Dirk has delivered and done for the city of Dallas.
Yep.
Originally from Germany. But he's made Dallas his home, Charlton. He's been a mentor to many players. He's been there through ups and downs of that organization, Charlton. But to spend 21 years on any job in America today, Charlton, is a miracle, basically.
Yeah.
No one stays around. I mean, we think about baseball players having the most longevity in a sport, but 21 years in cities. Think about it. He's had a couple decades of fans, Charlton, that have been born in Dallas and followed Dirk and grown up with Dirk.
Yep. That's true.
And so he's also delivered a championship to that city, Charlton. So, I appreciate the loyalty of a Mark Cuban in this day and era of athletes being rental athletes,
yep,
going from team to team, that there's no loyalty. And so when fans and media alike sit up and say, well, this guy, he's egotistical, he's arrogant,
yeah,
he's holding out. Why? You think he's better than so-and-so? Well, he signed that contract. Yes, he did.
Yep.
But the team is not loyal to him.
No.
Regardless. So he should get all and do all he can to make the most he can in the shortest amount of time, Charlie. And Dirk Nowitzki has earned everything that Mark Cuban has allowed him to achieve.
Let me ask you this question, Big C, and everybody has their own opinion. When you talk about what you just stated, I look at how the Oakland Raiders, long-time successful organization, one of the most recognizable sports franchises in the universe. And you think about what they've been. They've been Al Davis. Even though Al Davis is gone, people still think about Al Davis, the patriarch of the Raiders. Now they have his son, Mark Davis. Not the same man, and maybe he wants to push back from what his dad did. But his dad gave Art Shell an opportunity, a Raider, to become a head coach for the Oakland Raiders. Art Shell could have had other jobs, but he wasn't given that same opportunity. Al gave him that chance. I contrast that, and I know Al had his own thoughts with Marcus Allen. Whatever went on with them was stupid. I think it cost him at least another Super Bowl, Big C, having him go to Kansas City instead of finding a way to keep him in the backfield. But how would you say, again, he was considered a Maverick, but he was loyal to a lot of his players, where other people, they're just not loyal at all. Look at what his son just did to one of the longtime Raider broadcasters. What made Al Davis so loyal to people, even though so hated throughout the league? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, you got to look at his embryonic part of the NFL, Charlton, where he came in as a coach. He was the original coach of the Raiders.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people don't realize. He was their original coach. So he learned the relationship with players, Charlton, that you have to have this relationship. So as he moved through the ranks of co-owner and then solo owner of the Raiders, Charlton, he had already established that as a coach. So when you think about it as a coach, your loyalty to your players and to you, Charlton, are what make you successful.
Yes.
That you all believe in each other. And so when he became the owner, Charlton, he became the refugee hangout for the misfits of the NFL. When players were...
The Raiders misfits? Are you sure the misfits, Big C, of the NFL? Are you sure?
Well, you think about that. If you had, in that time when Al Davis was at his height with the Raiders, if Randy Moss and Terrell Owens were in the NFL at that time,
yeah,
they would have been Raiders, Charlton.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Even Brett Favre would have had a chance to be a Raider.
Yeah.
If he was under a long-term deal with the Green Bay Packers. Al Davis brought in disgruntled players. When you think about what he did for us winning Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Al Davis made appearances in 4 Super Bowls as the owner of the Raiders.
Yeah.
And every quarterback, Charlton, that he had, except for one, came from another team. Daryle Lamonica. He didn't draft Daryle Lamonica. He brought him in a trade from the Buffalo Bills.
Yep.
Kenny Stabler was the only quarterback that Al Davis drafted that won a Super Bowl. Jim Plunkett won 2 Super Bowls for him. But he came by way of 2 other teams. He was drafted by New England, cut by the 49ers.
Yeah.
Think about the difference in those 2 organizations during that time, Charlton. The Raiders went to the height of the NFL. 49ers fell to the bottom.
Yep.
But Al Davis knew talent. When you looked at both sides of the ball, Charlton, he brought in players that would make his team the best that they could. Mike Haynes was the best cornerback in pro football. Brought him in. He brought in Willie Hall, a disgruntled linebacker who everybody said couldn't play in the NFL.
Yes.
He was part of a Super Bowl run with the Raiders, Charlton. He brought in players that wanted to play. And he got production out of them, Charlton.
So I want to ask you this question then. Why is he considered the Maverick when it comes to NFL, even though he's gone? Why they call him a Maverick with all the great things you just said about what he did building organizations, how many times they went to the Super Bowl, 4 times under the helm of Al Davis, a former coach, helped with the merger of the NFL, the AFL, gave an African-American coach his first opportunity, gave, I think, an African-American quarterback one of the first opportunities in the league too. So it kept the city. I mean, the team was in Oakland. Yeah, they went to L.A. because of some political things and couldn't get a stadium. But he kept that team in a city that's predominantly African-American. And even when he went to L.A., South Central Los Angeles, another predominantly African-American. He wasn't like some of the owners that took their teams into the suburbs where they left the majority of their fans that were African-American. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, when you think about it, Charlton, like when you looked at his team over the years, he had the most minority diverse team in the NFL.
He did.
As a coach and as a manager and as an owner. He was the first team to draft a black quarterback in the first round, Derek Dickey. out of Texas Southern.
Yeah.
You think about that, being a Maverick. That's part of being a Maverick. Doing things that other people won't do, Charlton.
Yeah.
And I say he was a refugee for the misfit players of the NFL. The players that everyone deemed, that could not play. John Matuszak, perfect example. First overall draft pick of the Houston Oilers, Charlton.
Yes.
They felt that, he had not evolved to the player that they wanted him to be. Next thing you know, John Matuszak's with the Raiders, part of a Super Bowl winning team, Charlton.
Yeah.
An integral part of that. So when you think about being a Maverick, that's giving people opportunities that nobody else would.
Yeah.
He had the oldest player in the NFL, Charlton, George Blanda.
Yep.
Playing quarterback, still kicking. When people had gone to soccer-style kickers, he had this old conventional kicker, Charlton.
Yeah.
That was 46 years old when he retired from the NFL. So being that Maverick, Charlton, hiring John Madden. John Madden was a 30-something. He was the youngest head coach in the NFL when he was hired.
Yes.
Youngest head coach in NFL history when Al Davis hired him. That's a Maverick move, Charlton. Taking the chances that nobody else would take. Al Davis did it. He challenged the league.
Yep.
He challenged the other owners. That's what a Maverick is.
I think that's very good knowledge, Big C. You know how we've been hearing this talk, this garbage, this anathema that people can't, take a knee or bring attention to social consciousness. Oh, the league's numbers are down. The numbers are down in the league. No, people, they have they have these tablets now. You can watch the game on your phone, on your computer. You don't have to walk around with that big 50-inch TV set that Big C walks around with sometime on his boat, so the whole neighborhood or the whole lake can watch the game on Big C's boat. But now people can watch it on their phone. Would you believe all the knuckleheads that were saying how this African-American athlete, this bringing attention to social consciousness is going to hurt the ratings and going to hurt the league? Would you believe Forbes magazine, Google it, the #1 franchise in the history of the sports universe, the Dallas Cowboys. Think about it. 29 of the 32 NFL teams are in Forbes magazine as some of the top franchises in sports and in business, period. So with that said, how does that hurt the league? I tell you, the opposite happened. As you get smarter, you tend to pay more attention to things. We've been doing this whole thing the last couple of years on Big C Sports. Just Google everything. So Google Forbes magazine and look at some of the top NFL franchises where they rank. Big C, the antithesis of hurting the league is true. More money is poured into these organizations because people are paying attention when they find that there are some smart people on these teams that are not dumb. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, it's amazing. It was a political move to say that the NFL ratings were down because of what players' actions were, Charlton. No, those players' actions draw attention. If those players' actions were appalling to people, Charlton, we would not hear about the players' actions. You think about it, they're media marvels.
Sure are.
When they do that, everybody is interested in what professional athletes do, Charlton. Yet everybody is not to be appeased by everybody's actions, whether it's political, whether it's sports, or whatever, Charlton. It's like people saying, well, they're tired of seeing the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Well, I think in the AFC, what they have,
East.
15 teams?
Yeah.
And 15 of them failed to beat the Patriots in the AFC
They're tired of seeing them,
yeah. 15 of them failed to beat the Patriots in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
So how can you be tired of seeing them? Same thing we look at the NBA, Charlton, when they say, well, the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers, nobody wants to see that again.
Yep.
Well, they won't anymore, Charlton.
Yeah.
LeBron's not there.
Right.
But for 4 years, Charlton, 4 consecutive years, I believe there was 14 teams in the East, 14 teams in the West that had an opportunity to beat each one of those teams, Charlton.
Yeah.
Now, either they couldn't or they decided not to beat them.
Yep.
So, you take it either way that you want. But the only people that were mad, Charlton, didn't live in those cities. Think about it.
Yeah.
The only people that were mad didn't live in those cities. But I didn't hear anybody crying and say, hey, I want to see the Phoenix Suns in the NBA championship.
No, nobody crying.
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear anybody say, I want to see the Charlotte Hornets in the NBA championship. So, when they sit up and say, well, they're tired of seeing certain players.
Yes.
but they're not sitting there with a list of other teams that they want to see in the championship.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're getting the best that plays in all sports in the championship. You know, we talked last year during the World Series how great it would have been to have had the Yankees and the Dodgers in the World Series. Yeah. East Coast, West Coast, major markets, Charlton.
Oh, yeah.
The major market is always good from an advertising perspective, from a numbers perspective, Charlton.
Yeah.
But, you know, the World Series didn't suffer when Kansas City was in the World Series a few years ago and won at Charlton. They didn't.
No, they didn't.
And you think about Boston as a market. Look how small Boston is. Boston right now has the best record in baseball since 1946. They're 71. Well, they're 70 and 31 in the first 100 games.
Yeah.
You know, that hasn't been since 1946. Charlton, if they go 500 the rest of the season, they still win 100 games, but they'll play above 500.
Yeah.
They may set a franchise record for wins.
Yeah.
But, you know, when it comes down to a championship series, Charlton, and viewership, I've never heard anybody say viewership was down in the championship.
Nope.
Super Bowl had record numbers last year with New England still in the game, Charlton.
Yeah. Especially
so NFL viewership is not down.
No.
You know, it's people saying, well, certain things hurt the game. People look for excuses, Charlton.
Yeah.
That's all that is.
Yeah.
And the excuse, you know, just like saying that players were against the flag and they're against the military.
Yeah.
The next excuse was, well, the ratings are down because they couldn't prove that.
No, they couldn't.
The ratings are down because the players are taking the knee. You know, and for me, think about how they said that. They said the ratings are down because players take a knee.
Right.
They don't play the national anthem on TV, Charlton.
No.
So how was the ratings down?
Yep. See, Big C, I told you read too much. Sometimes if you hear somebody say something over and over again, you start to believe it, no matter what it is. And I think you can look at Washington for that. But I do want to say that sports is a billion-dollar industry, and boys and girls sports is the foundation to this billion-dollar industry. And for every athletic and sporting event, you need athletic and event insurance. We work with Ben and Mark. They've been around half a century. They work with Big C Sports. Whether you're a pro team, a collegiate team, or a high school team, even your mom and pop soccer league, when you reach out to them, let them know Big C sent you. They're also endorsed by the NCAA. So that point you brought up, I think that's so phenomenal. I got to bring up this point because as I can't get enough of football. I found myself watching some college football games from last year when I could have watched baseball. I found myself looking at some college football, just surfing through channels, at a time. But at this point you brought up about the ratings, people saying ratings are down. No, ratings are not down. Now, this for the people who tried to sell that story. I think if you do something wrong, if you ever accuse somebody of something, isn't it nice for somebody to come back and say, hey, I'm sorry, I was wrong? That's just the right thing to do. How many of our broadcasters, our broadcast brethren, who were grandstanding because they thought that some segment of society wanted to hear that anathema against black athletes, so they got on TV too and started saying, yes, about the flag. Look, I support this country. I salute the flag. I would fight for this country, even though they never have, Big C. They could still enroll in some type of service, but they won't do it. They got to look and say that Forbes magazine is either right or wrong. Either Forbes is right or wrong, or some of these broadcasters who don't read like you do were just getting on repeating what they wanted to say because they thought it was popular. Will we ever get apologies from some of our mainstream brethren who are still on broadcast shows to this day, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, to circumvent that misconcept that they have about the ratings are down, you just said that you were watching last year's game this weekend.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
The ratings are down, but they're so desperate that they have baseball that's being played right now, Charlton.
Yeah.
They had their summer league that's being played.
Yep.
There's plenty of sports.
Yeah.
But what do they choose to put on replay?
Yeah.
Last year's college football game.
Yep.
So how is your ratings down, Charlton, if you get put on replays from last year and you have people tuning into it?
Yeah.
That's how America views football. Nothing else matters.
Yeah.
In America.
And Big C.
Not until the playoffs in baseball will anything matter other than football.
That's a good point. Would you happen to know where I was watching the last year's college football games? It was on my phone. They don't have a Nielsen rating on my phone, but I was watching on my phone because you can Google games and they'll actually pull up. I want to get your thoughts on something because this is another person that said that their ratings were down. Papa John's is still having fallout from his former CEO. The Washington Redskins have banned. This is an oxymoron. The Redskins, they even banned Papa John's. I guess the N-word is more offensive than Redskin in some circles, Big C. But the Redskins have banned all Papa John's sales at FedEx Field. They should take their own advice and consider the importance and the feelings of Native Americans. Just your thought on that, Big C.
Well, this really lets me know that the owner doesn't have a moral compass, Daniel Snyder. Is that he said, all he's doing is grandstanding. And when the Native Americans and other social activist groups, Charlton, came after him about his ethnic insensitivity,
yeah.
Charlton, about the Redskins' name, because he said that's his marketing, that's his money.
Yeah.
Papa John's was not his money. So, I mean, this is being hypocritical.
Yeah.
That's all he's being, is hypocritical. This reminds me of the tape of the president being released talking about Michael Cohen.
Yeah.
When you talk about attorney-client privilege, and people are saying, well, Michael Cohen released this tape. No. You need to understand what attorney-client privilege is.
Yeah.
That means only the client has the privilege to release his information. The attorney doesn't.
Yeah.
So the client released the information to get in front of the debacle he had over in Helsinki.
Yeah.
And other problems he'd had. He said, so if he blames that on the attorney, which, think about it, if your attorney releases that information, you sue your attorney.
Yeah, you sure can.
Last I checked, there was no lawsuit against Michael Cohen.
No.
He has sued women for making allegations against him.
Yep.
So you're going to say that if Michael Cohen released something that was allegedly being so damning to him, then he wouldn't have sued him? Come on, let's get real.
Yeah.
That's what Daniel Snyder is.
Yeah.
He did the same thing that the president did. He said, okay, let me throw the public a bone to make them think that I'm sensitive to causes.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
And
not that he's sensitive to causes. He threw him a bone to deflect from what he's not supposed to do.
And Papa John's guy had already been pushed out. Snyder must have been on vacation to realize this guy has already been pushed out.
Charlton had already said they had stopped their affiliation.
Yeah.
So by him making that announcement, he made an announcement after the NFL and said we will no longer be affiliated with Papa John.
Yeah.
So he made a person, you mean the NFL? I'm part of the NFL?
Yeah. I thought that's funny. He's going to stand up and make a social stand because the guy was using the N-word. It didn't stop him from selling pizza when he was using the N-word, Big C. He was still selling pizza when he had already used the N-word. What happened? Did Snyder not know that part? It's a small world. People know. But I do want to ask him, that pizza, the stock were down because all people had to do was start having a bite. that's what made the stock go. It wasn't the NFL. I took one bite of the pizza. That's why the stock went down in my checkbook, Big C. It had nothing to do with the NFL. Also, as adults, we talk about what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. The Washington Redskins making some kind of stand on Papa John's pizza when they had already fired the guy. Now, adults, what's inappropriate? What's an inappropriate place to take children? Have you ever seen this where you might think that's inappropriate, or you've seen someone take children someplace? We say it's inappropriate to use racial epithets, but we do it all the time. Even people that sell pizza until it's brought out to social media, but the guys who knew that he was doing it, they knew him a long time before it was made public. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, they did. They were aware. And, get to that point about taking children to inappropriate places.
Yeah.
And I've seen many a times, Charlton, that parents take children to inappropriate places. If you're traveling, the number one place you don't take kids, Charlton, is Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Let's be realistic.
But I'm a Raider fan.
It's 115 degrees in the desert.
Yeah.
And I've never seen a daycare at a blackjack table. Okay? Not even a crab table.
No.
But it's the adult playland. Why do you take your kids to Las Vegas, walk up and down the strip with a stroller in the heat?
Yeah.
Down the boulevard. This is inappropriate for children, Charlton. I'm in a Hooters restaurant.
Yeah. Uh-oh, right now, Big C? Right now or the past?
I need to go and use the restroom,
Okay.
I had to go in and use the restroom.
They gave you the code, right?
Yeah, they let me go in and use the restroom. But I'm looking at this situation, and you got kids in Hooters. You got candidly clad women throughout the place.
Yeah.
And you got your little kids in there in Hooters.
Yeah.
So there's too many places that are built children friendly.
What about Chuck E. Cheese?
You know, that's where they should go.
Yeah.
Take them to Chuck E. Cheese. Take them to CC's Pizza.
Yep.
Take them someplace, McDonald's Playland out there.
Yeah.
But don't take your children to a place where adults should hang out, Chelsea.
Yeah.
You know, this is what, I don't know if all parents have a grip on reality. And let me give you another thing that peeves me about adults, Chelsea.
Yeah.
You know, you often see, and you spoke about baseball since you don't like to watch it because you like to watch football replays.
I'm sorry, I didn't have to. Okay. I watch everything, but I'm hooked on football.
But, you know, you watch players when they're coming off the field a lot of times, Charlton, and they'll toss balls to little kids.
Yeah.
I saw a game the other day where a player tossed the ball into a stand, and a little boy fumbled the ball, basically.
Yeah.
And it bounced out of his hands. And this adult reached down and picked it up, holding it in the air, gloating, okay?
Yep.
I was appalled. I'm like, here it is. You're a grown man. What are you going to do with a baseball from a baseball game? Because you're not there with a kid of your own, so do you have kids?
Yeah, yeah.
But this player intended for this ball to go to this young kid, Charlton, in the stands. And you are such an asinine person that you wanted to take this ball and gloat. And here's this young kid. You know he's depressed at that point, Charlton.
Oh, yeah.
That he was hurt. He thought he had a ball because the player eyeballed him and tossed it to him, Charlton.
Yeah.
And here it is. You're going to hold the ball up in the air and make fun about it that it's yours.
Yeah. I think sometimes,
that was appalling to me that occurred. That this grown man took the ball, and this happens on more than one occasion, Charlton, that they take balls from kids, and here's a kid that will take that thing and cherish it probably for the rest of their lives, Charlton.
Yeah.
And you're an adult, and you want to take it and gloat on this kid with this ball.
I think sometimes people don't forget that kids are the reason that they should enjoy the game themselves, and sometimes they take it away. That's what Little League is about. But even with that, I've also seen, you've probably seen it too, where parents are getting into fights at Little League baseball games. And I have no idea what's there to fight over. You got little, maybe about 11-year-old kids playing Little League baseball, and then parents start fighting in the stands. And sometimes we've seen that, not necessarily going into the playing surface, but what is it about our adults that we can't control ourselves at times? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, you look at that, and it's gotten to the point where it's almost ridiculous. I mean, the TV stations are showing highlights of parents fighting at soccer events, at baseball events, Charlton. We've seen coaches get attacked at Pop Warner football games, Charlton, parents coming out of the stands.
Yeah.
And what type of sportsmanship are you setting up for kids, Charlton, that parents are acting like this? But first and foremost, what drives a parent to be at that type of mental state?
Crazy. That
you're so aggressive at a game, Charlton, that you're attacking another person. And in front of kids. So what type of example are you setting for your children?
Yeah.
That violence is acceptable in society, in sporting events? Many sports, Charlton, are violent enough, especially football and hockey.
Yeah.
But when you get parents being overzealous, and a lot of them have stopped children from playing over the years because children have been forced to play because their parents were a frustrated jock.
Yeah.
And so they said, well, I'm going to make my kid be a superstar. I played with kids growing up, Charlton, in high school, that parents were out there yelling at them.
Yeah.
You know, you got to do this, you got to do this. I even coached Pop Warner football for a few years, Charlton. And I was so frustrated with parents. We had to ask them to leave practice sometimes.
Yeah. And
then they would, what would get to me, because I was a large individual, so I didn't have to worry about them getting in my face.
Yeah.
I had a parent one time come down after a game, talking to me about his son and his lack of playing time.
Yeah.
And his son, could barely get on the field.
Yeah.
But I offered him a position, Charlton. I said, look, we do this on a volunteer basis. And if you'd like to come down, I will have a T-shirt and a whistle for you on Monday.
Yeah.
Practice starts at 5:30.
Yeah.
Never heard from that parent again.
Really?
He was an expert until we asked him to be involved.
Yeah, that's funny. I remember when I was a young kid, I saw it was George Foreman. He was getting ready to fight Muhammad Ali, actually. And I remember because he had just beaten up Joe Frazier so bad, I think he had knocked Frazier down 6 times. And I thought, man, Ali's not going to beat this guy. I don't want to see Ali get beaten up. But I remember it was down in Hayward, California at a gym. And there were some guys heckling George Foreman and saying, you're not going to beat Ali. I don't care how many times you knock down Frazier. And I remember George Foreman said, hey, why don't you come get in the ring? And that parent sat right down. He was sweating, and they had AC on the inside. But it's almost funny when you realize everybody's real tough until they figure out what Mike Tyson said. It's different when someone's driving the fist through your brain. Is that what he said, Big C? Your thoughts?
It is real different, Charlton. You know, when you look at people who challenge athletes all the time,
yeah,
you know, and even coaches, you know, it's generally somebody who has never achieved,
yeah,
and doesn't know how dominant that athlete is at their profession. I used to work out in the Gold's Gym years ago before, you know, everybody had the money to have their own gyms at their house.
Yeah.
And you always had people critiquing you in the gym. Well, his calves are not that big, you know, his chest is not that big, you know, his back is not that wide.
Yeah.
It was always some steroid junkie telling you some part about your body.
As his needle's in his pocket, he's telling you, you need to get bigger, huh?
Needle still stuck in his butt and his shoulder.
Yeah.
You know, that's where he was. But, you know, the thing about it, Charlton, I used to always have an easy comeback. So, look, guys, they hold tryouts all the time. You know, all you got to do, and a lot of people have them open to the public, just open tryouts.
Yeah.
You're free to go anytime and prove yourself, how good an athlete you are. Because the last time I checked, they didn't play football laying on a bench press.
With a needle in the backside.
You know, the guys who are on their back generally on the losing side.
Yeah, that's
so,
funny.
You know, anytime you want to come out, I think we can find a uniform for you.
That's true. And speaking of finding uniforms, I just want to touch on a little bit what's happening in baseball since the All-Star break. Obviously, you talked about the Red Sox. Really, it's good when the Red Sox are doing great on top of the world at 70 and 31, and they're challenging to be not only in the American League East champion, but they're pulling away from the Yankees. Yankees 63 wins. It's hard to say who's going to win. It's all about pitching and timing. Do you get the call or do you not get the call? But when you look at Boston, they're 5 games right now, basically the win-loss column over the Yankees. The Yankees have a chance, Big C, or are we going to see a 5-game swing against 2 teams that are so evenly matched, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, you know, the Yankees are playing for the wild card berth right now. You know, what Boston is doing is just a historical season. You know, being at this point, like I said, had not been done since 1946. So you think about how many years have we been watching baseball and nothing has, you know, been this captivating as the Boston Red Sox. They're the best 2 teams in baseball. It's just one of those things, Charlton. They're in the same division. It's like what we had in basketball last year with the Warriors and the Rockets.
Yeah.
You had the best 2 teams in the NBA playing the championship series before the championship.
Yep.
And that's what you're going to get with Boston and New York this year. But, you know, it's great for baseball when you think about fanfare. When you see the Yankees on television, Charlton, when you see the Sox on television, this must-see television. And those broadcast networks you talk about, Charlton, they put them on networks.
Yep.
Because they know that the viewership is up when those 2 teams are on there. It's the same with football, Charlton. You know, it's hard to put the Chicago Bears on TV versus another team that's just as bad as them, Charlton. So if you had the Chicago Bears playing the Raiders last year, what type of viewership you think you got in that game?
That's true.
You know, you didn't get it.
Yeah.
You got Tampa Bay playing the Jets. Oh, must-see TV. Let's put that on Monday night, Charlton.
Right.
You know, so this is what they don't understand. And see, even Monday Night Football, Charlton, changed. They said, okay, if we got a dog game, we're going to switch that game later in the year. Thursday Night Football did the same thing. We're going to switch that game. We have the right, if a team is not in the playoffs, come the second half of the season after game 10, if they're out of the playoff hunt, We're going to move that.
They definitely
Tell
do
me
it.
what was the viewership when you put the Indianapolis Colts on TV last year, Charlton?
They had a team?
You know,
Did they keep playing last year?
you know, okay. You got the Indianapolis Colts, Charlton. You got the Cleveland Browns. You put those games on TV, yes, the viewership is down. But when you got the Patriots playing the Cowboys, Charlton, if you had that on television, that's the highest rating game of the weekend.
Yeah, that's always true.
Hands down. You're going to get something like that. So when people say that the NFL ratings are down, they're down on the teams that are down, Charlton.
Yep, that's a very good point.
But the teams that are in the pinnacle, Charlton, it's must-see TV. And I think they get the late game in the afternoons, Charlton.
Yeah. I tell you what, Big C, it's not down. It's just on the tablet. That's what people got to figure out. Also in Major League Baseball, in the American League Central, Cleveland's leading Minnesota by 9 games. And in the West, Houston's up 5 games over Seattle. Even though Oakland's playing good baseball, they took care of the Giants over the weekend. Still looking at Houston and Seattle in the American League West. Over in the National League, I want to get your thoughts on who you like. Philadelphia. I mean, Philadelphia is surprising some people. They're 1-game lead over Atlanta. I still like Atlanta to come out on top of that. And then Washington 6 games back in the Central. Chicago, they're a 3.5-game lead over Milwaukee. I really like the Cubs coming out of the Central. In the West, the Dodgers, with their new acquisition, I think they're going to be the team to beat out West, even though they're just a game and a half over Arizona. And then Colorado still back about 2 games back. Give me your thoughts coming out of the National League. People think automatically Dodgers because of what they did just after the All-Star break. But I mean, they're still being challenged by Philadelphia, Atlanta, and then Chicago's still going to make some noise. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, you know, Atlanta's really the unsung team, Charlton, in the National League this year. They've come out of nowhere to be very competitive. 15 games over 500.
Yep.
No one even expected anything from them, Charlton. And Philadelphia is just as big a surprise. But I think that the National League would be much better served with Philadelphia being in that major historical market, Charlton.
Oh, yeah.
The Phillies have a longevity and history of winning, and we haven't seen them for a while, Charlton, in the World Series. But when you talk about media, the East Coast, West Coast, the time zones really matter.
Yeah.
When it comes to baseball and people looking at that. But Atlanta, you know, they have that newer stadium that they built, I think, 2 years ago.
Yep.
That they moved to, and if they respond by being in that new stadium, Charlton, I think we might see a flood on new stadiums in Major League Baseball.
Yeah. I hope you're not saying like a flood, like water flood, but we do understand everybody thinks you need a new stadium. You know, speaking of new, and when I look at training camps, a lot of teams are starting for training camps, and that's great. So football would be more in the thick of things as we get into next month, the beautiful month of August. But I got to get your thoughts on some golf. Saw a lot of good golf over the weekend. Really impressed with the return of the great Tiger Woods. I never would have thought that I would see Tiger Woods with the lead on the back nine all by himself. But again, less than a year ago, he had surgery. Now, had a chance to close out and win major number 15. Jack, people keep saying, well, Tiger's never going to win. He's never going to win again. He's only 42. Jack Nicklaus won his last major, the 18th major, when he was 46 years old at the Masters. So Tiger has 4 more years to average just 1 win a year. I still think Tiger's going to get the 20 majors. And then people might say, oh, that's crazy. No, it's not crazy. There were a couple of moments where he did not listen to his caddy. But what he is doing, he's not trying to destroy the ball every time he drives. Just give me your thoughts on Tiger Woods' performance. And then we'll also talk about Molinari, who won it for the first time for someone from Italy to win a major championship. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, you know, the thing about Tiger, Charlton, is always Thursday and Friday. That's what has beat Tiger Woods is Thursday and Friday, that he has not been able to be competitive on those days. I mean, he shot even par, but he needs to find a way, Charlton, to shoot under par on Thursday and Friday. I mean, it was miraculous seeing what he did on Saturday, but he has led the majors, you know, the PGA on Saturday, Charlton. He shot the best rounds on average.
Yeah.
What Tiger needs to do, and what destroyed him, was 10, 11, 12, and 18 over the weekend, Charlton. He had the tournament, and Tiger's never given up the lead on Sunday before, but he did this time around. So when you look at where he is, with your bogey, double bogey on those 3 consecutive holes, Charlton. That was the tournament right there.
Yeah.
He gave it away. And I think when he hit the first bogey, Charlton, on 10, that he could not withstand himself. And you know, maybe it was just too much stress, and he tried too hard on the next hole on 11.
Yeah.
And double bogey, Charlton.
Yeah.
And then wanting to make up on 12, bogeyed again.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing with Tiger is that he needs to get into the real social club.
Yeah.
You know, he had a social club before when he was married, but he needs to get into a better social club
He's
now.
more relaxed.
Well, you look at Tiger. You ever see Tiger when he tips up his hat, Charlton?
Yeah.
He's trying to avoid sunburn.
Yeah.
You know, that's what he's trying to do, is avoid sunburn. He needs to shave his head.
Go like Michael Jordan.
Like Michael
I agree.
and Barkley and
Yep.
myself and Shaquille. He needs to shave his head.
Yeah.
I think where his game is off, Charlton, and this is just my insight on it, okay?
Yeah.
Is that he's a little off balance with the hair.
Yeah.
And so since the hair is not balanced, Charlton, get rid of it, he's going to get his balance back.
I tell you
So
what.
if Tiger goes to that shave club, Charlton, and going to get a razor commercial about shaving,
Yeah.
okay, we'll see Tiger win a major.
I think that's a good point, because a lot of it just has to do, and this is something that no man will ever really tell you. All these knucklehead men going around getting these plugs in their hair, they have no idea how much better their social life will improve when people can rub your head, Big C. It's amazing. It's you kind of feel like you're being harassed, but as long as you consent to it, there are a lot of people who will fawn over you more. I look at the leaderboard. Molinari finished -8, and then Justin Rose -6, along with McIlroy, and then Kistner and Schauffele, and then Woods came right after that, but he went to -5 on the 18th when he missed that close putt. But there's something about that leaderboard. Even Spieth, who won it last year, he didn't even finish in the top 6. But there was a time when he had the lead. So it's not about people saying, and again, I hear some of our sports brethren saying, see, I told you he can't do it. The guy who won last year is decidedly younger. I think when Tiger won his first major, Spieth was only, I think, 3 years old. So even Spieth dropped off. He had the lead at the time. McIlroy was right there to win too. Molinari, the first time for someone from Italy to win, and he's 35. No, Tiger hasn't dropped off. He had surgery less than a year ago. I think once he gets that thing back, and maybe you touched on it, just confidence outside of the golf links. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, it is, Charlton. When you think about those 4 holes cost him 5 strokes, Charlton.
Yeah.
5 strokes. That's the victory. You know, he's sitting at a -9, -10. It wins the tournament handily, Charlton.
Yeah.
But, you know, like I said, it comes down to his hair right now.
Yeah.
That's Tiger Woods' biggest problem. He has an imbalance because he's concerned about what people think of him when they look at him.
Yeah.
He got that bald spot in the back of the head, Charlton.
Yeah, and don't we all?
If he go and let it all go.
Yeah.
Now he's free again, Charlton.
Yeah, be free.
His vanity is all over.
Yeah.
Just let it go. Get a razor contract, Charlton. It's the biggest razor spot in the history of America. I mean, there's not a razor company that would not want to shine. He's going to get the razors, Charlton. He's going to get the foam, everything.
Yeah.
But Tiger needs to do this. He needs to let that little bit of hair he has go, Charlton.
Yeah.
He can't put no braids in that.
No Bob Marley coming soon. So Tiger finished best major since 2013 Open Championship. Jordan Spieth shot 5 over par after starting the day tied for the lead. People are talking about Tiger dropped the lead. Tiger had the lead, never happened before where he gave it up. But Spieth, last year's champion, also he started the day with the lead, and he finished 5 over. So he had a disappointment because Tiger had to lap him, Big C, in order to get there. And then McIlroy, his best major finish since the 2014 PGA Championship. So golf is definitely back in the swing of things. And I saw something that I hadn't seen in a lot of golf matches, Big C. I saw people paying attention on Saturday and Sunday. You've been talking about that for a long time. I know we want to see more Tiger Woods. I was hoping that Phil could be there in the mix too, but something happened with Phil. Something's just not, he's not able to get that mojo back. Did that make any sense, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, you know, the thing with Phil is that, you know, his kryptonite has always been Tiger.
Yeah.
You know, and you think about Phil had won over 20 golf tournaments, Charlton, prior to winning a major. So he was always in Tiger's shadow. And when Tiger rises, for some reason, Phil his game is not the same.
Yeah.
You know, when you see Phil do good, Tiger's not in those tournaments.
Yeah.
But every tournament that Phil is in, I think Phil feels the media pressure that they're comparing him to Tiger. That this should be a rivalry, that they should be competitive. And I don't know if they are. I know they talked about the one match play for $10 million. Phil kind of choked up when Tiger said, we'll put up our own money. We don't need a sponsor. Yeah. And all of a sudden, Phil, had a hamstring injury or something.
Yeah.
But, because he couldn't reach it down far enough into his pocket.
He couldn't find his pocket.
Couldn't find his pocket.
That's funny.
But, when you look at certain guys, certain athletes over time, talking whether it was football, whether it was basketball, baseball, there's certain people that will show up and someone's game is not the same.
Yeah.
It just happens that way, Charlton.
Yeah.
People talked about Jordan, during his career that, certain players couldn't play well against him, but there was a lot of players who did play well against him, Charlton.
Yeah.
So, but, here it is with Tiger and Phil, is that there's always been that comparison. Even when Jack and Arnold were going against each other, Charlton.
Yeah.
There was always that comparison between those two. Who was the better? Who was the leader? Arnie started it all. Jack came along and chased it.
Yeah.
Tiger perfected it. And you got to look at the era that Tiger plays in, Charlton, when they say he's chasing, Jack far as majors. There are a lot more better players on the golf circuit now, Charlton, than there were when Jack was playing.
Yeah.
When you talk about Molinari coming over winning from Italy, that's his third victory of the year, Charlton.
Yeah.
In America, on the PGA Tour. So when you think about these golfers that we don't know anything about for the most part, but he can win 3 PGA Tour events this year, Charlton. You think about it, Ricky Fowler, who is a great golfer, has only won 4.
Yeah.
But Ricky Fowler is a Madison Avenue darling, Charlton. Great looks, great-looking girlfriend. You see him on State Farm commercials.
Yeah.
But he's only won 4 PGA events. And Molinari has won 3 this year.
In a short period of time, yeah. That's a good point, Big C. So we know it's great because golf is back, especially over the weekend. We know football's tipping up. I'm still going to watch some football, Big C, after we finish the Big C Sports Show. Baseball in the swing of things. We love seeing people hit the bat. And I still want to talk about NBA because people keep talking. It's a year-round thing. I'm glad Summer League is finally over. I think sometimes you can invite guests and they stay a little bit too long. Big C, back in the day, there was a man by the name of Drew Bundini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Rumble, young men, rumble. Big C, what are you looking forward to in the sports universe?
Well, Charlton, I'm looking for some exciting baseball races. We're going to get a lot of heads-up divisional play in the weeks to come, Charlton, and we'll be very decisive about who has the playoff seedings, Charlton, when we get to the playoffs in Major League Baseball, American League, and National League. I'm just excited about baseball after the All-Star break, Charlton. You think about it. We got less than 60 games left for most teams, Charlton, on the season.
Wow.
Now we're in a real race.
Well, speaking of real race, you can always race too every Monday through Friday at 5 and 6 p.m. worldwide. Follow Big C Sports on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. I want to tell you there's never, ever any excuse for domestic violence. If you know any man or woman going through that garbage, please call 911 because no man or woman should ever have to go through that garbage all on their own. And as we always tell you on every Big C Sports show, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.